All right, here's where the fun begins. So, I'm eating something, so pardon me. I've taken the latch completely out of this. All this is done, so we're happy with that. I'm trying to fit this piece in. And as you guys know before, it's hitting here and here. Well, not only that, I crawled in the trunk. I closed the trunk down. Actually, that's not gonna matter. Took the latch out here to where it would close all the way just to see how far down it would go. And so if I pull it all the way down like it's supposed to be, right there it stops. Well, I got inside the trunk and got to looking. Well, this area here is hitting right here. That's why I put that tape on there. And the reason being, it's amazing how accurate these cars have to be. I mean, people say, well, our 1/4 inch out here and there, okay. But like in things like this, huge difference. All right, so you look over here, you look here at this setup, it's perfect. Like my fingers are running into this bezel, okay? It's still sticking up a lot. Like I wouldn't, no way I could live with that. That's sticking up way too much. Now I can pull it down like that. There's no latch over here to pull this down. So as it's just resting, if I pull it down in the middle, that hits and this sticks up. If I pull this down in the middle over here, I can live with that. That looks decent. It's not perfect, but it looks decent. This is all good. Here's the issue, and I think I might have showed this on a video before. I'm not touching the bezel, I'm touching this. So that's a problem because that's kicked in, this has been bent in, and as I come down with it, it hits right here, up in here. So this needs to come out like that, which would fix a lot of our issues. Here's the problem we talked about before. And I could put a porter power on there and I could block it up and make it, man, would you get off me? Stay. So I could block this up, put a porter power in there and move this trunk back out. However, this, hopefully you're seeing this, this is all cracked to crap. I'm guessing somebody's pulled on this before at some point. And if I keep pulling on it or if I push on it with a porter power, this is probably just gonna go poof. And all this paint's gonna come out. So, can I do that? Yes. The problem is, I'm not so much worried about this under here breaking out because I could probably spray, you know, some back in here and make that look fine. And you can see here where it's, I mean, this literally flexed in and just cracked all this stuff. Or either when they try to pull it back out, it cracked it. The problem is if I keep pulling on this and I pull past, anytime you move this metal down here, that metal up there is gonna move. So if I go too far with this, I don't know if that's showing that, but it'll flex down. So I could end up putting a wave or a dent in that. So I gotta be real freaking careful here. And this is, I didn't sign up for this, remember that. I signed up to cut the rust out and weld this new piece back in and be done. And I didn't realize it had been wrecked. So it's turned into that. And now I have it, so it's like, what do you do? Just go, okay, well, here's your pieces back. I didn't know it was wrecked. Go take it to someone else and have them fix it. Which I could do, but yeah, everything's got to turn into a can of worms, like somebody said earlier on my comments. It's like, yeah, it's not going to be just quite that easy. And looking down at it, it looks pretty good. So, like I said, what I did here is I stuck a couple of these paint sticks in here and went ahead and shut that down on these paint sticks. If I can do it again. and pulled it all the way down. Well, that pulls that out close. It's not perfect, but it pulls it way out closer. So though just a couple of paint sticks, what is that, probably 1/8 inch or whatever that is, that makes a difference. This all looks good, everything's fine. So maybe I should just tell him to keep a set of paint sticks with him and just slide them up in there when he closes the trunk, and that'll work. But again, pulling down on this side wants to stay up for some reason. My guessing is it's tweaked. Just a guess. That pushed that in. Anytime one part moves, other parts move too. So that's what I'm guessing. And he's probably been driving around like this for I don't know how long. Well, hell, there's a dent right there. I just seen it. I don't know if you can see that in the light, but if that light up there, it's kicking down onto this. Let me see what I got going on the camera here. Yeah, that light, right through there, it's a little dent. So this side's probably pushed in a little bit too. But man, I mean, this paint job is God knows how many years old. And it's, like I said, so brittle, it's just ridiculous. Like, if a rock hits this, it's just gonna crack all to pieces. So I don't want to get too medieval on this thing, trying to crank that back out, because it's going to end up cracking a bunch of other stuff, and then I'm going to open up Pandora's box and it's going to be terrible. And so I don't really want to do that. I'd love to fix the guy's car. I'd like to fix it better than what they did, because they did a terrible job in my opinion. But they did it good enough to where the trunk latched and all that. And like I said, even when on their trunk latch, you see right here, it was still hitting, and this was being peeled off by these little guys right here. Let me make sure you're seeing that. So yeah, these little guys right here that are holding trim on, you got what, 4 of them, looks like 5 of them, 6 of them maybe. When it comes down, it was coming down and hitting here already. So he's already had the paint chipped up, because literally the whole problem here is the trunk got squashed in. And so the only way to really fix it right is to reverse the damage, which is to pull it back out. Well, again, you can pull it back out, and I'd have to pull it. I'd literally have to pull it farther, probably 1/2 inch farther or more, to where it would relax back into the place that it needs to be. You know, I mean, I'd have to pull it way out here, and I can promise you, if I do that, that shit's gonna go, and it may go through here. So it's like, all right, what do you do? So I'm back to modifying this piece. Let me put this back in. I don't want to scratch up just got that sitting in there to protect my etch primer for the time being. All right, so that fits in there like that. Here, I'll fix that in a second. Get your ass in there. I could probably come over a little bit more. Yeah, that helped. All right, hang with me for a second. I've also split here and split here, thinking maybe I could bend this up a little bit to bring this down, because a big problem, this is one of the biggest problems. There's a big gap in here. This won't really pull down to meet this. This has already been okay, I got the GoPro on again, so hang with me. This has already been, they brazed this. It looks like they brazed it over here, so they moved this around a little bit. So, because this from the factory was more than likely spot welded, what do you call it? Pinch welded. Spot, pinch, I don't know, whatever. But whatever they did from the factory with the little, you know, zzz, zzz thing, that's probably what they did here. Well, these guys clearly didn't. They came in with, or girls, don't, you know, I don't want to be whatever it is, feminist, is that what it is? Anyway, so they came in with their brass and brazed this in. So that's, in a nutshell, where I'm at. This can come forward a little bit, that's fine. But that whole thing has to go down to meet that. Either that or that has to come up. Well, if that comes up to meet this, which is fine, the good thing is this little guy is adjustable. Yeah, adjustable. So it'll go in here, and I can adjust it up and down. Where's my bolts? I put one of these little guys in here. And so that, I pretty much can go here to here. That's a lot, that's a lot. So I can bring the trunk down, but the trunk's only gonna come down so far. It's only gonna come down until it hits here. So bringing this up is also gonna make this thing kick up on this side. It just is terrible. Like for me, maybe he doesn't notice, maybe no one else has said anything, but for me, I'm like, man, that would bug the crap out of me having one part of my trunk sticking up on one side and the other side being pulled down fine. So I could, yes, bring this up, re-weld it, weld this together, and then use this as my adjustment. All this stuff I got, I'm gonna have that money. That's gonna look great, no problems. So, but I have to have the trunk closed as tight as I can get it, which again is gonna make this be a problem. And so I'm just kind of, I'm thinking out loud. I've thought about splitting this thing completely under here, all the way across in half, bringing that down enough to where basically this gets out of the way, because these were hitting as well. Now, like if I close it now, it won't hit here, it'll hit here first. So it's hitting these things. So it's not hitting that anymore. So that's a problem. So I thought about cutting that and dropping that just a tad. Or the only other option is to yank that out where it's supposed to be, to where it closes like that. But again, I've got to overstretch that. You see down there, hopefully that's so hard to know what you're seeing with the thing on my forehead. So in there normally it's like that, but I can pull it out like that. But to get it to stay like that, I got to overstretch it, which I already said. So there's my dilemma. That's what I'm working with today. I'm just really thinking out loud. The latch is adjustable a little bit too. That's wonderful. They made this to where they made it nice to where you can adjust stuff around a little bit, to where, which I noticed when I was closing, it was pulling the trunk one direction. So I went ahead, centered it back up to where it'll pull it down. Of course, maybe they pulled it that way to get something else to pull another different direction, but I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? And and all the way up as high as this will go. Gets me no latchy, no latchy, no latchy. If I pull it out and push down, there I get latchy. So let's try something. Let's just try for the giggle part. Now, okay, that's latched. It's pulled that out enough, clearly. So I'm wondering, but it's still, that's still touching. Those are still touching because it's sliding. That's why I made these gray or silver marks here so I could watch it moving down this piece. So that's still, as you're going down the road, it's still going to be touching here, and that's no bueno. So I'm still going to have to do something in here to get this to drop. And if you see these, as it comes, it gets closer, tighter, tighter, tighter. So big, small, disappear. So right here's where we're touching. I made a line here, made a line here. So my thought is if I can drop, just slice this panel and drop it just a little bit to where that's not touching anymore, that would be hunky-dory. This is what I was gonna do. Take my sticks and slide them in here like I had before, and then shut this down and see if it is happy or not happy. Or am I hitting on something? Oh yeah, that ain't gonna work because of that thing right there. Unless I break it in half and bypass that thing like that. So now we come down, we close it, and it's happy. All right, is this recording? Yes, it's recording. So I absolutely know what's going on now, which I did before, and it's no different now. So I took everything out. There's nothing in here now, like literally nothing, took all the everything. Latch, striker, everything. So when I pull this trunk down where it's supposed to be with my little special tool in there, it looks wonderful. This pulls out pretty close, not perfect, pretty close. And then as I pull in the middle, this pulls this down fairly decent. So what that comes back to is, and as it comes up and that goes out, now look how freaking bad that is. So ultimately it's coming down to that being pulled out that far, which again comes back to cracking the hell out of everything. It's like, all right, do I crack the hell out of that and then try to repaint it? Or do I modify the crap out of that to get it to form to that? It's like, wow. I don't know. Yep, this was are some of the wonderfulness that they did. You see the brass there that they've caked in there. So yeah, it was brazed right here, and right here. And it broke both places here, but it held on here. Maybe it was brazed here too. Looks like they might have brazed it there, but that broke loose too. So that wasn't the best thing. So I'll clean that up and we'll make that back right. But man, I mean, even if I put this back on here, this. I don't know why. I just don't repaint it, I guess. I want it all scratched up. So I'm just protecting it. So I'll do this one more time. This side is a little nicer to me. It's not so stubborn. All right, so where was I going with this? Oh. Even, I guess I'm gonna have to keep this camera handy because otherwise you guys are not gonna be seeing what I'm seeing. So now I can move this up and make this fit really happily. So this is what I was talking about doing. Just maybe running a couple of tacks here, a couple tacks down there, making sure it's lined up, centered with that. Yeah, I have to do that. I may have to clamp it in somehow or something, or hold it just to maybe put a magnet. I've got these little magnets. Where do the little magnets go? They're more than likely stuck to everything in the world. Did I call that or what? These magnets are great, but they're also a pain in the ass because they pick up everything, which is kind of cool because, like, say all this little stuff here, where I've been clipping my wire. So yeah, they stick to everything. So if you move anything, don't expect the metal to stay where you wanted it. It's gonna go with the magnet because the magnets are super strong. But you can get these at Eastwood if you're interested. They're so strong that when they come back together, they like to pop and they chip each other. So it doesn't really affect the, what would that be called? Magnificency? No, that's probably not a word. I don't know. Anyway, that's called getting sidetracked. Squirrel time. All right, so see, it just wants to stick to every damn thing. So I'll just put those right up underneath there, like that. That'll keep that happy. Are you gonna stay happy? Here, we'll put another one down there so that keeps it right up against it. Now, no guarantee when I close that it's not gonna slide those magnets down because they're not that damn strong, but at least that gives me an idea of what I got to work with here. And now I can kind of see, maybe. We're still going to run into the same issues over here. It's not going to help that any, which I didn't figure it would. That's not going to latch, but it's up way too high anyway, so that wouldn't matter anyway. So let's put these little fellers back in there. That probably needs to come up a bit. So again, this is still touching, so I'm still going to have that issue. Even if I pull that striker up, I'm still going to have the same issue. with that. Even with these in there, it's still so close. It's just so stinking close. Yeah, that's just not gonna be happy. And this side is sticking up way too far. And that baby, because it's hitting something in there. Oh, it looks like it latched. Oh, that striker's moving all over the place, but let's get that out of the way. Completely out of the way. Did something pop out somewhere and I'm missing? That's in there. That's pretty decent. That's decent. That looks all right. Well, either way it goes, it looks like I'm gonna have to slice this and drop it somehow. Even if I were to fix that. So, that's where I'm at with it. I'm gonna cut it there and think about it, sleep on it. I don't know. Probably won't get a whole lot more done today, because I'm just gotta kick this around a bit and figure out what I'm gonna do. We'll see you guys. Thanks for watching. All right, one more thing I just discovered as I was looking up in here. I don't know if you need light to see that, but if you run down through here, see these little bubbles, little bumps, just little bumps. Anybody tell me what that is? Anybody have any idea? Here, let me light it up for you. Oh, we don't want red. Those little guys. All right, turd. Little guys right there. You see what that? No, that's probably too bright. Maybe there. And it goes all the way across. And here. Oh, that's terrible. But hey, those are just little bumps, right? It's probably caulking or something, maybe. No, not caulking. It's rust. Let's see if we can look down in there. You see all that rust in there? Right down in that seam. It's so ugly. And it's getting ready to bust right on through. I don't know if you can see that, but just take my word for it. It's in there. And it's getting ready to bust all the way through. Here, maybe this. There. It's like, man, it just keeps on going. So, I just thought I'd let you know. If you're ever looking at a car and you go along and you see just little tiny rust bubbles, just little tiny ones, you go, oh, that's no big, that's probably surface. No, it's not. It's coming from the inside. It's gonna be real ugly up inside there. So, because it eats from the inside out. Now you can tell the difference between surface rust on the outside of a car, which a lot of guys use as patina, or when it's pitting the paint out. That means you've got a monster thing of rust in there. Just like I was talking to you about that guy right there. That's a freaking nightmare under there. but we're just gonna leave that alone.